My name is John Portanova. I'm the writer and director of Valley of the Sasquatch, which is a Northwest-produced Bigfoot horror feature. It centers on a family that is forced to move out into the woods, and while there, they run afoul of some savage Sasquatch.
Michael, we're broke. I know this is new for you. We're both gonna have to make do with what's been given to us.
Yeah, Dad, let's be the best poor people living in the woods we can be.
Things are never gonna be the same now that your mom's gone, but I want you to have as normal of a life as possible.
What was that?
I've heard stories of strange things being seen in the woods. Happened about 90 years ago. There was a group of miners working on this mountain. One night, they were attacked in their cabin.
There's no such thing as Bigfoot. Help me!
What are you doing? He's still out there.
What the hell's going on?
Give me the case!
Valley of the Sasquatch came about from just a lifelong love of Bigfoot. I grew up on shows like Sightings and Unsolved Mysteries, like paranormal investigation shows, back before they were all faked. And every time they would show Sasquatch, Yeti, it just fascinated me because I believed. Seeing the Patterson footage, seeing all the eyewitness accounts, it was just the one thing where I was like, that is real, and it freaks me out. There's a monster out there, and I want to read all about it, I want to watch everything about it, but I'm horrified that I would ever actually see it. Well, I've always been a big movie fan. One thing that really led to my love of horror films was I remember one year, I think I was in about 9th grade. I was staying over at a friend's house on Halloween night, and on USA Network they were showing a double feature of John Carpenter's Halloween and the original Halloween 2. And just seeing those back to back, suddenly I was just like infected. I was like, I have to see all these movies. And then Friday the 13th is kind of like that. Nightmare on Elm Street is kind of like that. I need to see all of these. What I love about it is it's something that you're never going to get in real life. In real life, and granted, I know I just mentioned how I do believe in Bigfoot, but in real life, a werewolf isn't going to run down the street and attack you. You can see that in a movie. And I've never had to bandy together like with my dad and some friends to fight Sasquatch, but in this movie, my proxy, the main character, can do that. The Bigfoot community and the cryptozoology enthusiasts have reacted pretty positively to Valley of the Sasquatch. I think what they like is they can tell that I have a passion for the creature, and it's not just a monster movie. Usually when you get into the horror aspect of Sasquatch, he can just be this rampaging monster. It's sort of like, we happen to be recording this on Friday the 13th. It's, instead of Jason in a slasher movie, they'll just do Bigfoot. And I don't think that's how Bigfoot is. Bigfoot isn't running around killing people. And so within this movie, I wanted to set up very specific reasons for the characters to be going into this Sasquatch territory, and also very specific reasons for the Sasquatch to be reacting in the way it is, and make it so it's not just a mindless killer. That wasn't my intention with the movie at all. If anything, this isn't a movie about 5 humans, it's a movie about 5 humans and 3 Sasquatch. They're as much the main characters as the people. And so I think the community has reacted well to that, although there are always people who say, why does it have to be a Bigfoot horror movie? And it's like, well, because they already made Bigfoot with E.T. That was Harry and Henderson's. I like horror movies, so.
So, Pacific NorthWEIRD is here at the Sasquatch Summit at the Quinault Beach Casino and Resort in Ocean Shores, Washington. But right now, we are going to be talking about a movie that Tyler and I saw last weekend called Valley of the Sasquatch by writer-director John Portanova. Tyler, you come from the show Finding Bigfoot on Animal Planet.
Yep.
Can you describe to us briefly the synopsis of the plot of Valley of the Sasquatch?
Yeah, Valley of Sasquatch. It follows this family who moves to the woods around, I believe it was Mount St. Helens. And they move out into the woods, and are pretty much terrorized by a family of Sasquatches, and horror and action and adventure ensue in their struggle to outrun the Bigfoots and then get kidnapped and escape from the Bigfoots, and then have to escape the woods with their lives.
And their arms.
And their arms.
Some people do not escape with all of their arms.
True.
And that was one thing I really enjoyed about it. It's got like this very serious intensity to it, and then these brief orgasms of B-movie blood and gore. And then it goes back to serious thriller. I really like that.
Yeah, the arm getting ripped off that guy, and then when stepped on that one guy's head and it just exploded like a watermelon.
That was pretty cool.
And and then it had there was that kind of the gore, horror, scary, but then at the same time it's very realistic, out in the woods, and what it's like walking through the woods with no lights, and hearing things around you and having fleeting glimpses, and I think it really conveyed that kind of sense of dread and foreboding and fear that a lot of people get when they're out in the woods.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly scared of the woods, and, well, delightfully scared of it. It's a type of fear that I like to go after. Like sometimes we're afraid of things like spiders or clown rape or something, and we don't ever want to go near it ever, but then other things like the forest is kind of a cool, kind of scary. And
like clown rape?
Yeah.
Or... Anyways.
So, you're much more of a Bigfoot expert than I am.
I'm the world's foremost Bigfoot expert, actually.
Yes, you are, especially in this room. Of which there are only 2 of us.
See? Told you.
So, I remember you saying that there were a lot of kind of Easter eggs that related to the Bigfoot community hidden throughout the movie. Can you touch on some of those?
Absolutely. All of the characters in the movie have, actually I can't even remember all their names now, but everybody was named after somebody that's famous in the Bigfoot community, Bigfoot lore. The family, their last name was Crew, after the Crew brothers, who had found the first footprints in 1958, I think it was, and that's where the term Bigfoot came from. Jerry Crew and his brothers, and also there was references to Albert Ostman, the Albert Ostman incident in 1923, when Albert Ostman was kidnapped by a group of Bigfoots, or kidnapped by a Bigfoot, and taken to somewhere where there was the rest of the family, and he was held hostage for a while. Something like that, very similar to that, happens in Valley of the Sasquatch. There was also like a realty sign at the very beginning of the movie. It said Ostman Realty that I caught. I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, I heard you chuckle at that, and I had no idea what you were talking about.
And there was another character named Marks, after Ivan Marks, and there was peppered throughout the movie. There was little references to, the Ape Canyon incident in Mount St. Helens, the Bauman story that Teddy Roosevelt talked about in his book, or referenced, the guy sitting on the log, and then he tipped back and he had fang marks in his throat, and something very similar to that happens in the movie as well.
Teddy Roosevelt saw a vampire Bigfoot?
He did not see one, but he recounted a story that he was told about something that happened to a guy in Montana. And a lot of people consider it one of the first stories of like a fatal Bigfoot attack, where somebody was actually killed by a Bigfoot. So that's kind of a famous story. So this John, borrowed a lot of his movie from these incidents, and and it just goes to show what a fan he is, and how respectful he is of the subject, and how learned he is about it, and he put that stuff in there on purpose. So
that's the sense I got, even though I didn't really pick up on all of the Easter eggs and get all of the references. I could tell that it came from a place of love. Like, John Portanova obviously is a fan of Bigfoot and loves Bigfoot, and it comes across in the movie. It's not like a cash grab where someone's like, oh, no one's made a certain Bigfoot horror movie in this style yet. Let's do it and we'll get some jerkwads to give us our money. No, John Portanova made this as a labor of love, and it's so obvious when you see it. I recommend everyone who's watching this video find a way to watch Valley of the Sasquatch. It is currently doing the indie film circuit. It's going through film festivals, and there is going to be a DVD release at some point in the future.
There is.
For sure. Any final thoughts on Valley of the Sasquatch?
I don't think so. It's a great movie, filmed right here in Washington by a Washington native, and kept all the production here in Washington, so yeah, definitely go see it. I would give it 4 thumbs up.
I would give it 5 cool Bigfoot tracks and 1 Bigfoot stool sample that you find right after that you put into a bag and come back home and leave in your freezer, eventually causing your wife to leave you. Great job, John.